Hello and welcome to Curated Classics, the channel that shares the most famous and popular stories from books, films, and history in quick summaries so that you can learn the classics quickly without hours of reading or years of expensive courses. Today you are listening to Calculus Made Easy by Silvanus P. Thompson, a classic introductory book on calculus that aims to present the subject in an accessible and easy-to-understand way. The book starts by explaining the basic concepts of calculus, such as derivatives and integrals, and then goes on to cover more advanced topics like rates of change, optimization, and infinite series. The author uses a conversational style and a wealth of examples and exercises to help readers grasp the concepts and apply them to real-world problems. The book also includes many illustrations and diagrams to aid in understanding. One of the main features of Calculus Made Easy is its emphasis on using plain language and avoiding unnecessary jargon and notation. This makes the book particularly helpful for students who are new to calculus or who may struggle with the more formal presentation of the subject in traditional textbooks. Overall, Calculus Made Easy is a concise and engaging introduction to calculus that has helped many readers overcome their fear of the subject and develop a deeper appreciation for the power and beauty of mathematics. For a more in-depth understanding of the book, we will now provide a chapter-by-chapter breakdown. Chapter 1. Silvanus P. Thompson introduces the book and aims to alleviate readers' fears about calculus. He argues that calculus is not as difficult as it may seem, and that the key is to understand the basic concepts and techniques. The author provides a brief overview of the history of calculus, emphasizing that the subject has been the source of much confusion and misunderstanding. He suggests that the traditional approach to teaching calculus may be part of the problem, and that a more intuitive, accessible approach is needed. Ultimately, the author seeks to convince readers that calculus is a powerful and valuable tool for solving real-world problems, and that with a little practice and patience, anyone can learn it. Chapter 2. The author introduces the concept of infinitesimals, which are quantities that are infinitely small but not zero. He argues that infinitesimals are a key to understanding calculus, and that they allow us to solve problems that would be difficult or impossible using traditional methods. The author provides some examples and exercises involving infinitesimals and explains how they can be used to calculate rates of change and other quantities in calculus. Chapter 3. Thompson introduces the concept of relative rates of change, which are a measure of how one quantity changes relative to another. He argues that understanding relative rates of change is essential to understanding calculus, and that they can be used to solve a wide range of problems. The author provides some examples and exercises involving relative rates of change and explains how they can be used to solve problems in physics, economics, and other fields. This chapter helps readers see the practical applications of calculus and how it can be used to solve real-world problems. Chapter 4. This chapter provides a more detailed explanation of how to use the concepts of infinitesimals and relative rates of change to solve simple problems in calculus. He argues that by breaking down a problem into infinitesimal parts and analyzing the rates of change of those parts, we can find solutions that might otherwise be difficult or impossible to obtain. The author provides some examples and exercises involving the calculation of slopes and rates of change and explains how to use these techniques to solve problems involving curves and other functions. Chapter 5. Thompson introduces the concept of derivatives, which are a measure of the rate of change of a function. He provides an intuitive explanation of what derivatives are and why they are important, and then goes on to explain how to calculate them using the concepts of infinitesimals and relative rates of change. The author provides some examples and exercises involving the calculation of derivatives, including problems involving curves, tangents, and rates of change. Chapter 6. This chapter provides a step-by-step guide to calculating derivatives using the concepts of infinitesimals and relative rates of change. He emphasizes the importance of practice and understanding the underlying principles rather than just memorizing formulas. The author provides a range of examples and exercises to help readers master the techniques, including problems involving curves, tangents, and rates of change. Chapter 7. Thompson provides more examples and exercises involving rates of change, including problems involving maxima and minima. He explains how to use derivatives to find the maximum or minimum value of a function and provides some real-world examples to illustrate the concept. The author also introduces the concept of differentials, which are a measure of the small changes in a function, and explains how they can be used to solve optimization problems. Chapter 8. This chapter explains the implications of the definition of a derivative. He emphasizes that derivatives are a measure of the rate of change of a function, and that they can be used to find the slope of a curve at any point. The author provides some examples and exercises to help readers understand the concept, and also introduces the concept of a second derivative, which is a measure of the rate of change of the slope of a curve. Chapter 9. Thompson provides some geometric interpretations of derivatives. He explains that the derivative of a curve at a point is the slope of the tangent to the curve at that point, and provides some examples and exercises to help readers understand the concept. The author also introduces the concept of curvature, which is a measure of how much a curve deviates from being a straight line, and explains how it relates to derivatives and tangents. This chapter provides a visual and intuitive understanding of derivatives, which is helpful for readers who may struggle with the more formal presentation of the subject in traditional textbooks. Chapter 10. The author provides a guide to writing down derivatives using standard notation, and explains how to use this notation to solve problems. He emphasizes the importance of understanding the underlying principles and being able to translate them into mathematical notation. The author provides some examples and exercises to help readers master the techniques, including problems involving functions with multiple variables. This chapter provides a practical and useful introduction to the notation and conventions of calculus, which is essential for readers who want to communicate their ideas effectively. Chapter 11. Thompson explains the meaning of the notation dx, which is used in calculus to represent an infinitesimal quantity. He emphasizes that dx is not a number, but rather a symbol that represents an infinitely small change in the value of x. The author provides some examples and exercises to help readers understand the concept, and also explains how to use dx in conjunction with derivatives and integrals. Chapter 12. The author provides some tips for solving more complex problems in calculus. He emphasizes the importance of common sense and intuition, and argues that sometimes it is necessary to muddle through a problem in order to find a solution. The author provides some examples and exercises to help readers understand the concept, and also emphasizes the importance of being able to check your work and verify your solutions. This chapter provides a practical and accessible guide to problem solving in calculus, which is helpful for readers who may feel overwhelmed by the subject. Chapter 13. Thompson introduces the concept of integrals, which are a measure of the area under a curve. He provides an intuitive explanation of what integrals are and why they are important, and then goes on to explain how to calculate them using the concepts of infinitesimals and relative rates of change. The author provides some examples and exercises involving the calculation of integrals, including problems involving curves, areas, and volumes. Chapter 14. Thompson provides a step-by-step guide to calculating integrals using the concepts of infinitesimals and relative rates of change. He emphasizes the importance of understanding the underlying principles and being able to translate them into mathematical notation. The author provides a range of examples and exercises to help readers master the techniques, including problems involving areas, volumes, and probability. This chapter provides a comprehensive and accessible introduction to the calculation of integrals, and prepares readers for more advanced topics in the subject. Chapter 15. Thompson introduces some more advanced topics in calculus, such as optimization and differential equations. He explains how these concepts relate to the fundamental principles of calculus, and provides some examples and exercises to help readers understand the applications of these concepts. The author also emphasizes the importance of practice in developing a deep understanding of the underlying principles in order to be able to solve more complex problems. This chapter provides a glimpse into the wide range of applications of calculus and prepares readers for further exploration of the subject. Chapter 16. Thompson provides a brief overview of the history of calculus and explains how the concepts introduced in the book relate to the more formal presentation of the subject in traditional textbooks. He also provides some examples of how calculus has been used to solve real-world problems throughout history. The author emphasizes that the concepts of infinitesimals and relative rates of change are essential to understanding calculus, and that a more intuitive and accessible approach to teaching the subject can be helpful for many learners. This chapter provides a historical and philosophical perspective on calculus and reinforces the key concepts and principles introduced in the book. Thanks for listening to Curated Classics. If you enjoyed this story and it provided valuable insights, we hope you will give this video a like by clicking the thumbs up, sharing it with other lifelong learners, and please check out more of the greatest stories throughout history on the Curated Classics channel. See you next time.